Hey there, welcome back to our channel. We're so glad you're here. If you enjoy our content, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to stay updated. Now, let's dive into today's story. Welcome, friends. Thanks for tuning in. If you find value in what we do, please give us a like and consider subscribing to our channel for more amazing content. Without further ado, let's jump right into the main event. Hello and welcome, everyone. We're thrilled to have you with us. If you like what you see, please show some love by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. It means the world to us. Now, let's move on to what we have in store for. In the hushed silence of a world freshly scarred by war, the year was 1945, and the air was thick with the scent of change. The old world had been shattered, its fragments scattered across continents, leaving behind a landscape ripe for rebirth. Shadows of destruction still lingered, whispering tales of bravery, loss, and resilience. Yet, amid the echoes of artillery and the ghosts of fallen cities, a symphony of renewal began to play, resonating with the promise of a new dawn. In this theater of transformation stood Evelyn Harcourt, a woman of quiet determination and unwavering spirit. Her eyes, pools of deep cerulean, reflected the vast skies of her homeland, a patch of English countryside, untouched by time, where the smell of fresh rain mingled with the earthy aroma of blooming heather. Evelyn was a war correspondent who had witnessed the upheaval and chaos of battlefields, her words a powerful testament to both the horrors and heroics of humanity. Now, she found herself in a post-war world, seeking stories not of conflict, but of the human capacity to rebuild and redefine. The train carrying Evelyn rattled gently through the emerald tapestry of the countryside, the rhythmic clatter of wheels on tracks a soothing lullaby. As she gazed through the window, fields of gold swayed in the breeze, their dance a sign of life's enduring spirit. Her destination was a small village nestled along the coast of Normandy, a place that had seen the fury of war firsthand and was now beginning to heal its wounds. As the train rolled into the station, Evelyn stepped onto the platform, greeted by the cries of seagulls and the salty kiss of the sea breeze. The village, with its cobblestone streets and quaint cottages, lay under a canopy of azure skies, its heart beating with the rhythm of the tides. It was a place caught between the shadows of its past and the bright promise of its future. Evelyn's footsteps echoed softly as she made her way through the village, her senses alive to the scenes unfolding around her. Fishermen, their faces weathered by wind and waves, mended nets along the shore, their laughter mingling with the sound of crashing waves. Children, their innocence untouched by the memories of conflict, played in the fields, their joy a testament to the resilience of youth. Yet, beneath this facade of normalcy, Evelyn could sense an undercurrent of tension, a wariness born of past traumas and the uncertainties of what lay ahead. Her first stop was the village inn, a charming establishment that exuded warmth and hospitality. The innkeeper, a robust woman with a hearty laugh and a kind heart, welcomed Evelyn with open arms. "Ah, you must be the journalist," she said, her voice rich with the cadence of the coast. "We've heard much about you, Miss Harcourt. Come, let me show you to your room." Evelyn followed the innkeeper up a narrow staircase, the scent of freshly baked bread wafting through the air. Her room was a cozy haven, its window overlooking the tumultuous dance of the sea. As she unpacked her belongings, Evelyn felt a sense of calm washing over her, the tranquility of the village a balm for her weary soul. But Evelyn was not one to linger in comfort for long. Her curiosity, ever insatiable, propelled her to explore the village, to uncover the stories hidden within its folds. She wandered through the market square, where stalls brimmed with vibrant produce and merchants hawked their wares with fervor. The chatter of the villagers, a melodic blend of French and English, created a tapestry of sound that wrapped around her like a familiar embrace. It was here, amidst the bustling market, that Evelyn first encountered the enigmatic figure of Jacques Renaud. He stood apart from the crowd, his tall frame silhouetted against the sun-drenched sky. His eyes, a stormy gray, held a depth that spoke of untold stories and unhealed wounds. There was an air of mystery about him, a quiet intensity that piqued Evelyn's interest. As their eyes met, Jacques offered a polite nod, a fleeting acknowledgement that left Evelyn with a lingering sense of intrigue. She sensed that he, like the village itself, held secrets waiting to be uncovered, narratives of a world in flux and the personal battles fought within its confines. Determined to learn more, Evelyn approached a group of villagers who were gathered near a stall laden with fragrant herbs and spices. Their faces were etched with lines of laughter and toil, their hands busy with the day's trade. Evelyn introduced herself, her voice a gentle ripple amidst the cacophony of the market. "Ah, you're the journalist," one of the women said, her eyes twinkling with curiosity. "We've heard of your work, Miss Harcourt. What brings you to our humble village?" "I'm here to understand how communities are rebuilding after the war," Evelyn replied, her words measured and sincere. "I want to share the stories of resilience and hope that often go unnoticed." The villagers exchanged glances, their expressions a blend of caution and interest. "Well, you'll find no shortage of stories here," another woman said, her voice laced with both pride and sorrow. "We've all suffered, but we're learning to live again." Evelyn nodded, her heart swelling with admiration for the indomitable spirit of these people. As the conversation continued, she learned of the challenges the village faced, scarce resources, the loss of loved ones, and the haunting memories of invasion. But she also heard tales of unity, of neighbors helping one another, and of dreams rekindled amidst the ashes. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of crimson and gold, Evelyn felt a renewed sense of purpose. She knew that the stories she uncovered here would echo far beyond the village, resonating with those who yearned for hope in a world still finding its way. That evening, as she sat by the window of her room, watching the moonlight dance upon the waves, Evelyn's thoughts drifted back to Jacques Renaud. There was something about him that lingered in her mind, a puzzle piece that didn't quite fit, yet promised to reveal something profound. She resolved to learn more about this mysterious figure, convinced that his story was intricately woven into the fabric of the village's rebirth. And so, with the lullaby of the sea as her companion, Evelyn drifted into a restless sleep, her dreams a tapestry of shadows and light, of past and future, of a world on the cusp of transformation. Each thread of her dreams held a promise of discovery, a tantalizing glimpse into the untold narratives that awaited her in this village by the sea. The following morning, the village awoke under a blanket of mist, the air crisp and tinged with the scent of salt and earth. Evelyn arose early, invigorated by the promise of the day ahead. She knew her path would lead her once more to the heart of the village and perhaps, with a little luck, to the enigmatic Jacques Renaud. There was an urgency in her step, a determination that propelled her forward as she navigated the cobblestone streets, each stone whispering the secrets of the past. As she wandered, the village slowly came to life around her. Fishermen, clad in worn but sturdy clothing, prepared their boats for the day's catch, their voices a low murmur, a symphony of camaraderie and routine. Women bustled about, their baskets brimming with fresh produce and flowers, colors vivid against the muted backdrop of the morning fog. Children's laughter echoed from a nearby alley, a joyful reminder of resilience and renewal. Evelyn's journey led her to the village square, a place that seemed to pulse with energy and history. Here, The market was in full swing, stalls bursting with goods and people moving in a gentle, harmonious dance. Evelyn navigated through the crowd, her senses overwhelmed by a tapestry of scents: freshly baked bread, ripe fruits, and the tang of the sea. It was amidst this vibrant scene that she spotted Jacques Renaud, standing by a stall adorned with books, their covers weathered and inviting. He was deeply engaged in conversation with the vendor, his hands gesturing animatedly as he spoke. Evelyn hesitated for a moment, watching him from a distance, her mind a whirl of curiosity and anticipation. Gathering her resolve, she approached the stall, the sound of her footsteps barely audible over the market's hum. Jacques turned as she neared, his eyes meeting hers with a spark of recognition. He greeted her with a warm smile that seemed to belie the shadow of mystery that surrounded him. "Ah, Mademoiselle Evelyn," he said, his voice rich and inviting. "What brings you to the market this morning?" Evelyn returned his smile, feeling a sense of ease in his presence. "I'm drawn to the stories this village holds, Monsieur Renaud, and I believe you might be one of them." Jacques chuckled softly, a sound like the gentle rustle of leaves. "I am but a humble part of this tapestry, but if you wish to hear my tale, I would be honored to share it." And so, amidst the bustling market, Jacques began to weave his story. He spoke of his youth, of the war and the shadows it cast over his life and the lives of those around him. He described the village's struggles, its spirit unbroken even as it faced the harsh realities of a world in turmoil. His words painted vivid images, each sentence a brushstroke that brought the past to life. Evelyn listened intently, her heart aching with the weight of his experiences, yet buoyed by the resilience that shone through his narrative. Jacques spoke of loss, of love, and ultimately, of hope. A hope that had guided him back to the village, to rebuild and renew. As he spoke, Evelyn noticed the way his eyes would occasionally drift to the horizon, as if seeking something just beyond reach. She sensed there was more to his story, layers yet unpeeled, secrets waiting to be revealed. But for now, she was content to listen, to absorb the richness of his experiences, and to let his words guide her understanding of the world and its transformations. As the morning gave way to afternoon, the market's energy began to wane, the vibrant chaos mellowing into a gentle hum. Jacques, sensing the ebb of the day, invited Evelyn to join him for a walk along the shore, a chance to continue their conversation amidst the soothing cadence of the sea. The path to the beach was lined with wildflowers, their petals nodding in the breeze, a riot of color against the muted sand and sky. Jacques walked beside Evelyn, their steps synchronized, the silence between them comfortable and profound. As they reached the water's edge, Jacques paused, his gaze fixed on the horizon where the sea met the sky in a seamless embrace. "This village," he began, his voice soft yet resonant, "is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. We have endured much, yet we continue to hope, to dream." Evelyn nodded, feeling the truth of his words resonate within her. "And you, Jacques, what do you dream of?" He turned to her, his eyes thoughtful and tinged with a hint of sadness. "I dream of a world where we learn from our past, where we build bridges instead of walls, where we find harmony amidst the chaos." His words hung in the air, a poignant reminder of the journey humanity faced in the wake of the war, a journey fraught with challenges yet brimming with potential. Evelyn felt a deep sense of connection to Jacques, his dreams mirroring her own hopes for the stories she sought to uncover and share. As they continued their walk, the sun began its descent, painting the sky with hues of amber and rose, a promise of tomorrow. They spoke of many things, of the village, of the future, and of the untold stories that lay waiting to be discovered. As the day slipped into twilight, Evelyn felt a renewed sense of purpose. The village, with its tapestry of lives and experiences, had become a part of her, its stories weaving themselves into the narrative she was determined to tell. And Jacques, with his wisdom and dreams, had become a guiding star, illuminating her path forward. With the first stars beginning to twinkle in the evening sky, Evelyn bid Jacques farewell, gratitude and promise in her heart. She returned to her room, the sound of the waves a comforting lullaby, her mind alive with possibilities. As she settled into sleep, her dreams once again became a vibrant tapestry of light and shadow, of past and future. Each dream a thread in the story she was destined to tell, a story of a changing world, of hope reborn, and of a village by the sea that stood as a beacon of resilience and renewal. The morning sun crept over the horizon, its golden fingers stretching across the village, casting long shadows on cobbled streets and weathered rooftops. Evelyn awoke to the gentle hum of life beginning anew, the scent of salt and earth mingling in the crisp morning air. Her heart was a drum, steady and insistent, echoing the rhythm of this place that had become so dear to her. She dressed quickly, eager to embrace the day, to immerse herself in the stories that whispered from every corner of the village. As she stepped out, the village embraced her with its familiar warmth, the soft chatter of voices, and the distant laughter of children playing by the shore. Evelyn made her way to the heart of the village, where the market was already alive with activity. Stalls brimmed with the bounty of the land and sea, fresh fruits, glistening fish, and vibrant flowers that seemed to capture the very essence of the village's spirit. As she wandered through the throng, she was drawn to a stall adorned with intricate handmade crafts, each item a testament to the skill and history of its maker. An elderly woman stood behind the stall, her eyes wise and kind, her hands deftly weaving a delicate basket. Her name was Marguerite, and her presence was like a gentle breeze, both soothing and invigorating. Evelyn approached, her curiosity piqued by the craftsmanship and the stories she felt sure lay within each creation. "These are beautiful," Evelyn remarked, her fingers tracing the patterns etched into the wood of a small figurine. Marguerite smiled, her eyes twinkling with the light of shared secrets. "Each one tells a story, my dear. Stories of our ancestors, of the land, of the sea. They are our memories, captured in form and texture." Evelyn felt a thrill of excitement. Here was another thread for her narrative, another piece of the puzzle that was the village's history. She spent hours with Marguerite, learning the tales behind each piece, the legends handed down through generations. As the sun climbed higher, they shared stories and laughter, the bonds of friendship weaving tightly between them. But as the day unfolded, a shadow crept over the sunlit landscape. A murmur spread through the market, a ripple of unease that set Evelyn's heart to pounding. She turned to see a group of strangers at the edge of the square, men and women whose presence was both foreign and unsettling. Their expressions were guarded, their eyes scanning the crowd with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. Evelyn's instincts sharpened, the journalist within her alert to the potential story unfolding before her. The villagers, too, sensed the shift in the air, their movements subtly cautious as they observed the newcomers. The strangers seemed to be surveying the village, their intentions unclear, their purpose shrouded in mystery. Evelyn's thoughts raced. Who were they? What brought them to this quiet corner of the world? Her mind was a whirl of questions, each one a thread leading deeper into the unknown. She felt the pull of the story, the challenge of unraveling the mystery that had descended upon the village. Determined to uncover the truth, Evelyn approached one of the strangers, a tall man with an air of authority, his gaze steady and piercing. She introduced herself, her voice calm and respectful, her curiosity tempered by caution. To her surprise, the man was forthcoming, his words measured and deliberate. He introduced himself as Lucas, part of a team sent to assess the impact of post-war recovery efforts in the region. Their mission, he explained, was to document the progress and challenges faced by communities rebuilding in the aftermath of conflict. Relief mingled with intrigue as Evelyn listened. The presence of the strangers was not a threat, but an opportunity, a chance to deepen her understanding of the changes sweeping the world. She sensed a kinship with Lucas and his team, their purpose aligning with her own quest for truth and understanding. As the day turned to evening, Evelyn joined Lucas and his colleagues for a meal at a small cafe by the sea. The conversation flowed easily, a tapestry of insights and experiences, each story a brushstroke in the larger picture of a world in transition. They spoke of resilience and renewal, of the challenges of rebuilding and the hope that flickered like a flame in the hearts of those who dared to dream of a brighter future. Evelyn felt a sense of kinship with these strangers, their shared mission a beacon in the uncertain landscape of post-war recovery. She knew that their paths had crossed for a reason, that together they could illuminate the stories that needed to be told, the voices that needed to be heard. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Evelyn felt a sense of peace settle over her. The village, with its tapestry of lives and experiences, had become a part of her story, its threads weaving into the broader narrative of a changing world. And with the arrival of Lucas and his team, a new chapter had begun, a chapter filled with promise and possibility, with the potential to illuminate the path forward for a world in flux. With a heart full of gratitude and determination, Evelyn returned to her room, her mind alive with ideas and inspiration. The sound of the waves was a lullaby, soothing and steady, a reminder of the constancy of the sea even as the world around it changed. As she drifted into sleep, her dreams were a vivid tapestry of light and shadow, of past and future. Each dream was a thread in the story she was destined to tell, a story of hope reborn in a world transformed, a story of a village by the sea that stood as a beacon of resilience and renewal. And with each passing day, Evelyn knew she was one step closer to capturing the essence of this changing world, to crafting a narrative that would resonate with the hearts and minds of those who dared to dream of a better tomorrow. As the first light of dawn kissed the horizon, Evelyn awoke with a renewed sense of purpose. The sun cast a gentle glow over the village, its rays dancing across the rooftops like the flickering pages of an unwritten story. Today, she would take her first steps in documenting the transformation of this coastal haven, capturing the essence of a world in motion and the indomitable spirit of its people. Evelyn began her day by wandering through the village, her senses attuned to the sights and sounds that painted this vibrant tapestry of life. The narrow cobblestone streets were alive with the chatter of locals starting their daily routines, their voices mingling with the distant cry of seagulls. The air was thick with the aroma of freshly baked bread wafting from the local bakery, mingling with the scent of the sea, a salty reminder of the village's intimate connection to nature. Her camera in hand, Evelyn captured the beauty of the village's daily rhythm. She photographed the elderly fisherman mending his nets with weathered hands, his face a map of stories etched by time and tide. She recorded the laughter of children playing on the beach, their innocence a poignant contrast to the weight of the world beyond their shores. Each image was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a glimpse into lives that had weathered storms both literal and metaphorical. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, Evelyn made her way to the village square, where Lucas and his team were setting up for another day of interviews and discussions. Square was a hub of activity, a meeting place where ideas collided and perspectives intermingled like the vibrant colors of a painter's palette. Evelyn watched as Lucas engaged with the villagers, his genuine curiosity and empathy drawing out stories that might have otherwise remained untold. Lucas, with his charismatic presence and thoughtful questions, was a catalyst for change, inspiring the villagers to share their hopes and fears about the future. Evelyn was particularly struck by the words of an elderly woman named Isabel, whose eyes held the wisdom of a lifetime. "We have seen the world change in ways we never imagined," Isabel said, her voice steady and serene. "But through it all, we have held on to each other, and that has been our greatest strength. We are like the sea, ever-changing, yet always constant." Evelyn captured Isabel's portrait, the lines of her face a testament to the passage of time and the enduring spirit of the village. It was a moment that encapsulated the essence of Evelyn's mission: to document the resilience and hope that thrived in this corner of the world. As the day unfolded, Evelyn and Lucas found themselves drawn into deeper conversations about the challenges facing the global community. The specter of war and the shifting political landscape loomed large, casting shadows over the village's serene facade. Yet, amidst the uncertainty, there was a palpable sense of optimism, a belief that even in the darkest of times, light could be found. Evelyn and Lucas spoke of the power of storytelling to effect change, to bridge divides and foster understanding. They shared their visions for a future where empathy and compassion could guide the world toward a more harmonious existence. It was a conversation that fueled Evelyn's determination to craft a narrative that would resonate far beyond the boundaries of the village. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, Evelyn felt a profound sense of connection to the people and the place she had come to cherish. The village was no longer just a backdrop for her work. It was a living, breathing entity, a microcosm of the broader world she sought to understand. In the quiet moments of evening, Evelyn returned to her room to reflect on the day's experiences. The sound of the waves was a gentle reminder of the ebb and flow of life, a comforting rhythm that mirrored her own journey. She knew that the path ahead would be fraught with challenges, but she was ready to face them with courage and conviction. Evelyn's dreams that night were vivid and filled with the faces and voices of the villagers she had come to know. She dreamed of a world where peace reigned and where the bonds of humanity transcended borders and ideologies. It was a vision that filled her heart with hope and inspired her to continue her quest. In the days that followed, Evelyn delved deeper into the stories of the village, uncovering tales of resilience and renewal that would form the backbone of her documentary. She interviewed farmers who had embraced sustainable practices, artists who used their craft to advocate for change, and young people who were determined to forge a brighter future. Each story was a testament to the power of the human spirit to adapt and thrive, even in the face of adversity. Evelyn's narrative began to take shape, weaving together the threads of individual lives into a tapestry that illuminated the broader themes of transformation and hope. Throughout her journey, Evelyn found herself continually inspired by the people she met and the stories they shared. She was struck by the profound interconnectedness of the global community, a realization that filled her with a sense of responsibility to use her platform to effect positive change. As her time in the village drew to a close, Evelyn felt a bittersweet mix of emotions. She had come to love this place and its people, and she knew that their stories would remain with her long after she had left its shores. But she was also eager to share their narratives with the world, to shine a light on the resilience and hope that thrived in the most unexpected of places. On her final day, Evelyn stood on the beach, the sea breeze playing with her hair as she gazed out at the horizon. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow over the water, a fitting metaphor for the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. With a heart full of gratitude and a mind brimming with ideas, Evelyn knew that she was ready to embark on the next stage of her journey. She was determined to share the stories of the village with the world, to craft a narrative that would resonate with those who dared to dream of a better tomorrow. As she turned to leave, Evelyn felt a deep sense of peace, a knowing that she was exactly where she was meant to be, on a path that would lead to new horizons and uncharted possibilities. And with each step she took, she carried with her the spirit of the village, a beacon of hope in a world ever changing. Back in the vibrant hum of the city, Evelyn felt the pulse of life quicken around her, an orchestra of sounds and colors. The village had been a cocoon, a respite from the tumult, but now she was diving back into the symphony of urban existence. The streets were alive with the dance of people moving with purpose, their stories intertwining like threads in a vast tapestry. Evelyn walked among them, her mind a whirlpool of ideas, her heart still tethered to the serene simplicity of village life. Her apartment, perched above the city's incessant hum, was a sanctuary filled with the scent of old books and the soft glow of afternoon light. Here, Evelyn began to weave the stories she had gathered, her fingers flying over the keyboard as if possessed by the spirits of those she wished to immortalize. Each narrative was a testament to resilience, a whisper of hope that had survived the ravages of war and the test of time. As she wrote, the village came alive again in her mind, each character a vivid presence, each tale a thread in the fabric of a shared human experience. Evelyn's days were consumed by words, her nights by dreams that carried her back to the village, to the faces that now felt like family. Yet, as she delved deeper into her work, a subtle tension began to weave its way into her consciousness, a niggling doubt that whispered at the edges of her thoughts. The world she sought to portray was one of nuance and complexity, and she feared that the simplicity of her words might not do justice to the depth of human experience she had encountered. One evening, as the city lights flickered on like stars in a man-made constellation, Evelyn decided to take a walk to clear her mind. The streets were bathed in a golden glow, the air cool and invigorating. She wandered aimlessly, letting her feet guide her through familiar alleys and bustling avenues. As she walked, her thoughts returned to the stories, to the weight of responsibility that came with telling them authentically. It was on this solitary stroll that she stumbled upon an old bookstore, nestled between a cafe and a flower shop, its window display a mosaic of faded spines and curious artifacts. Drawn by an inexplicable pull, Evelyn stepped inside, the scent of aged paper and ink enveloping her like a comforting embrace. The shop was a labyrinth of shelves, each corner a promise of discovery. As she browsed, her fingers tracing the spines of forgotten volumes, Evelyn came across a book that seemed to leap out at her. A collection of letters from the post-war era, penned by individuals from all walks of life. The cover was worn, the pages yellowed with age, but there was something about it that resonated deep within her. Settling into a cozy nook by the window, Evelyn began to read, losing herself in the voices of the past. Each letter was a window into another world, a testament to the power of the written word to transcend time and space. As she read, Evelyn felt a shift within her, a realization that her own project was not merely about recounting events but about capturing the essence of what it meant to be human in a world that was constantly changing. The letters spoke of love and loss, of dreams deferred and hopes rekindled. They were raw and honest, unburdened by the constraints of narrative perfection. Evelyn felt a kinship with these voices, a shared understanding of the complexities of life in a post-war world. With each page, her resolve strengthened, her vision clarified. Leaving the bookstore, the book clutched to her chest like a talisman, Evelyn felt a renewed sense of purpose. She understood now that her role was not to simplify or romanticize the stories she had gathered, but to honor their authenticity, to let them speak for themselves in all their chaotic beauty. Her task was to be a conduit, a vessel through which the voices of the past could find new resonance in the present. With this newfound clarity, Evelyn returned to her apartment, the city a kaleidoscope of lights and shadows below her window. As she sat down to write, the words flowed with a new ease, each sentence a tribute to the lives she had touched and been touched by. The tension that had haunted her dissipated, replaced by a quiet confidence that she was on the right path. Days turned into weeks, and Evelyn immersed herself in the work, occasionally pausing to reflect on the journey that had brought her to this point. She thought of the villagers, of their laughter and tears, of the lessons they had imparted without even knowing. Their stories were woven into her own, a tapestry of interconnected lives that transcended borders and time. As the manuscript took shape, Evelyn began to share snippets of her work with trusted friends and mentors. Their feedback was invaluable, offering perspectives she had not considered, helping her to refine her narrative even further. With each revision, the stories grew richer, more nuanced, a testament to the collaborative nature of storytelling. Yet, even as she neared the completion of her project, a sense of anticipation lingered, a feeling that this was just the beginning, that the stories she had gathered were but a prelude to something greater. The world was vast and full of untold tales, and Evelyn felt an insatiable curiosity to discover them all. Finally, the day came when the manuscript was ready to be sent out into the world. Evelyn held the weighty stack of papers in her hands, a tangible representation of months of labor and love. She felt a pang of anxiety, tempered by a profound sense of fulfillment. Whatever the outcome, she knew she had given voice to the stories that had touched her soul. As she prepared to mail the manuscript, Evelyn paused for a moment, gazing out at the cityscape that had become her muse. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow over the horizon, much like the day she had left the village. It was a reminder of the cyclical nature of life, of the endless possibilities that lay beyond each horizon. With a deep breath, Evelyn released the manuscript, entrusting it to the currents of fate. She knew that the stories would find their way into the hearts of those who needed them, that they would inspire hope and resilience in a world ever changing. As she walked away from the post office, a sense of peace settled over her. She was ready to embark on the next chapter of her journey, whatever it might hold. With each step, she carried with her the spirit of the village, a beacon of hope in an ever-evolving world, and the knowledge that she was exactly where she was meant to be. The evening air was a blend of the familiar and the foreign as Evelyn traversed the cobblestone streets, her footsteps echoing softly in the twilight. The city, in its vibrant complexity, whispered stories of its own, tales interwoven with those of the people who had walked its paths, as well as the ceaseless march of time that had reshaped it over decades. Evelyn found herself drawn to a small park nestled between buildings, a sanctuary of tranquility amidst the urban sprawl. The trees, ancient sentinels, stood watch over the playground where children laughed and played, their voices a melody of innocence. She settled onto a bench, allowing the scene to envelop her in its gentle embrace. Her mind drifted to the stories she had woven together in her manuscript, narratives of struggle and survival, of love and loss, set against the backdrop of a world rebuilding itself after the devastation of war. Each story was a thread in the tapestry of history, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. As dusk deepened into night, the park began to empty, and the streetlights flickered to life, casting pools of golden light on the ground. Evelyn watched the shadows dance, their movements mysterious and elusive, much like the shifting tides of history she had come to understand. Her thoughts turned to the people she had met on her journey, their faces etched in her memory like stars in a clear night sky. The old farmer who had shared stories of his youth, the young mother who had spoken of dreams for her children, the artist who had captured the soul of the city with a single brushstroke. Each had imparted a piece of themselves, enriching her understanding of the world and her place within it. Evelyn's heart swelled with gratitude for these connections, for the moments of clarity and insight they had afforded her. Yet, beneath the surface, there lingered a whisper of uncertainty, a question that had yet to find its answer. What was the next step in her own story? The question lingered like a specter in the night, haunting her with its ambiguity. She had poured her heart into her work, and now that the manuscript was out of her hands, she was left with a void that begged to be filled. The world was changing, and she was changing with it. But how? Lost in contemplation, Evelyn almost missed the figure that approached her. A woman, dressed in a tailored coat, her stride purposeful yet unhurried. The woman sat down on the bench beside her, offering a warm smile that was both familiar and enigmatic. "Evelyn, isn't it?" the woman inquired, her voice a melodious blend of curiosity and certainty. Evelyn nodded, a ripple of recognition passing through her. "Yes, that's me. And you are?" "Margaret," the woman replied, extending a hand in greeting. "I'm a literary agent. I happened to hear about your manuscript through a mutual acquaintance. I hope you don't mind my forwardness." Evelyn's curiosity piqued, and she shook Margaret's hand, intrigued by the serendipitous encounter. "Not at all. It's a pleasure to meet you. How did you come across my work?" Margaret's eyes sparkled with a hint of mischief. "Let's just say the literary world is smaller than one might think. Your stories have a way of finding their audience, it seems." A sense of wonder washed over Evelyn, mingled with the thrill of possibility. She had sent her manuscript into the unknown, and here was a tangible connection, a sign that her words were already beginning to weave their own path through the fabric of the world. Margaret continued, "I believe your work has the potential to resonate with a wide audience. There's something timeless about your storytelling, a depth that speaks to the heart of our shared humanity. I'd love to discuss the possibility of representing you, if you're interested." Evelyn's heart quickened, a mixture of excitement and disbelief coursing through her veins. This was an opportunity she had scarcely dared to imagine, yet now it lay before her, as real and tangible as the bench on which she sat. "I would be honored," Evelyn replied, her voice steady despite the flutter of anticipation within her. The two women spoke for hours, weaving their futures together with words and dreams. As the night deepened, Evelyn felt the weight of uncertainty lift from her shoulders, replaced by a burgeoning sense of purpose. She realized that her journey was far from over. It was merely evolving, much like the world itself. As she bid Margaret farewell and made her way home, Evelyn's mind was alight with possibilities. Her stories, born from the ashes of the past, were taking on a life of their own, carrying her forward into uncharted territories. The city, with its myriad voices and stories, seemed to hum with a quiet anticipation, as if acknowledging the new chapter unfolding within its midst. Evelyn felt a kinship with the cityscape, a shared understanding of transformation and growth. As she walked, the night air was filled with the scent of blooming jasmine, a reminder of the cycles of nature and the promise of renewal. She inhaled deeply, allowing the fragrance to ground her in the present moment, to anchor her in the knowledge that she was exactly where she was meant to be. The stars above twinkled like distant beacons, guiding her steps with their celestial wisdom. Evelyn gazed upward, feeling a profound connection to the universe, to the ever-changing world, and to the stories that had become her companions on this journey. She knew that the path ahead would hold challenges and triumphs, moments of doubt and flashes of inspiration. Yet, she was ready to embrace it all, to dance with the unknown and to trust in the unfolding of her story. With each step, Evelyn carried the spirit of the village, the resilience of the people she had met, and the light of hope that had guided her through the darkest of times. She was a storyteller, a keeper of history, and a dreamer of dreams, a beacon of light in a world ever evolving. And as she turned the corner onto her street, the moon cast its gentle glow upon her path, illuminating the way forward. Evelyn smiled, knowing that she was exactly where she was meant to be, at the dawn of a new beginning. The night air was crisp, carrying with it the scent of distant pine forests and the soft whisper of leaves rustling in the gentle breeze. Evelyn inhaled deeply, letting the coolness fill her lungs and invigorate her spirit. Her heart felt light, buoyed by the knowledge that she was part of something much larger, an ever-unfolding tapestry of human experience. With each step she took, the memories of her recent travels unfurled like a tapestry in her mind. She recalled the vibrant markets bustling with life, the melodies of street musicians echoing through cobblestone alleys, and the stories shared over steaming cups of tea. Every encounter had left an indelible mark on her soul, weaving itself into the narrative she was destined to tell. As she walked, the rhythm of her footsteps matched the pulse of the city around her. The gentle hum of distant traffic, the occasional laughter drifting from open windows, and the soft patter of a cat darting across the street, all melded into a symphony of urban life. It was a soundscape of change, of progress, a constant reminder of the world's relentless march forward. Evelyn's thoughts wandered to the people she had met along her journey, each a unique thread in the fabric of post-war society. There was the elderly tailor in a small village, his hands deftly stitching together remnants of the past into garments for the future. His eyes had held stories of resilience, of a world torn apart and painstakingly rebuilt, one stitch at a time. Then there was the young artist she encountered on the steps of a crumbling cathedral. His paintbrush danced across the canvas, capturing the raw beauty of a city scarred by conflict yet blooming with life. He spoke of hope and transformation, of art as a vessel for healing, a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity. Evelyn's journey had also led her to the bustling ports where ships arrived from distant lands, bringing with them new ideas and opportunities. She had listened to the tales of sailors who had witnessed the vastness of the ocean and the interconnectedness of the world. Their voices were like the tides, ebbing and flowing with stories of adventure and discovery. As she neared her home, Evelyn felt a familiar tingle of anticipation. The building stood tall and welcoming, its facade bathed in the silvery glow of the moon. She paused for a moment, the key cool and reassuring in her hand, and glanced up at the window of her study where the soft light of a lamp awaited her return. Inside, the room was a sanctuary of words and memories. Shelves lined with books formed a fortress around her, each spine a gateway to a different era, a different world. The typewriter on her desk sat patiently, its keys ready to transform thoughts into stories, to bridge the gap between the past and the present. Evelyn settled into her chair, the leather creaking softly beneath her. She reached for her journal, its pages filled with notes and sketches, fragments of conversations, and the seeds of future tales. The act of writing was both cathartic and exhilarating, a way to make sense of the chaos and beauty she had witnessed. As her fingers danced across the keys, Evelyn felt the familiar thrill of creation. Words flowed effortlessly, a river of prose that captured the essence of her journey. She wrote of change and resilience, of the delicate balance between tradition and progress. Her stories were a mirror, reflecting the evolving world and the indomitable spirit of those who inhabited it. But beneath the surface, there was a deeper layer, a subtle tension that threaded through her narrative. It was the suspense of the unknown, the quiet hum of anticipation that accompanied every new beginning. Evelyn knew that the world was a place of contradictions, where hope and despair coexisted, where the past and the future were in constant dialogue. As the night wore on, the room filled with the rhythmic clatter of the typewriter, a heartbeat of creativity that kept pace with Evelyn's thoughts. Outside, the city continued its nocturnal symphony, a lullaby of urban life that wrapped around her, cocooning her in its embrace. Evelyn paused, her fingers hovering above the keys, and gazed out the window. The moon hung low in the sky, a luminous orb casting its gentle light over the sleeping city. She imagined the dreams of those around her, the hopes and fears that filled their nights, the stories that lay dormant, waiting to be told. In that moment, Evelyn understood the true power of storytelling. It was a bridge, a way to connect disparate worlds and foster understanding. It was a means to preserve the past while inspiring the future, to capture the ephemeral beauty of life and share it with others. With renewed determination, Evelyn returned to her writing. She knew that the path ahead would not always be easy, that there would be challenges and moments of doubt. But she also knew that she was not alone, that the stories she carried were a testament to the enduring strength and resilience of humanity. As dawn approached, casting a soft glow over the horizon, Evelyn's heart swelled with gratitude. She was a storyteller, a keeper of history, and a dreamer of dreams. Her journey was far from over, for the world was ever changing, a symphony of past and future, and she was ready to embrace the dance, one story at a time. The morning sun crept across the sky, painting the world in hues of gold and rose. The city stirred to life with a gentle hum, the sounds of distant traffic and birdsong weaving together in a tranquil symphony. Evelyn sat by her window, a steaming cup of coffee cradled in her hands, her mind still lingering on the revelations of the night. The quiet of dawn was a canvas upon which she began to sketch the outlines of her next story, a tale that would capture the essence of a world in transition. The world after 1945 had transformed in ways both profound and subtle. The scars of war had not yet healed, and nations grappled with newfound freedoms and responsibilities. Evelyn's mind wandered through the corridors of history, where the echoes of past struggles reverberated against the ambitions of the present. She thought of the countless lives altered by the tides of change, each one a thread in the vast tapestry of human experience. Her thoughts drifted to the bustling streets of post-war Paris, where artists and intellectuals gathered in smoky cafes, their conversations crackling with ideas and possibilities. The city was a beacon of hope and renewal, a place where dreams were forged in the crucible of creativity. Evelyn imagined herself there, seated at a small table, observing the vibrant dance of life unfolding around her. She could almost smell the rich aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingling with the scent of rain-soaked cobblestones. In the midst of this imagined scene, a figure emerged from the shadows, a man with a weathered face and eyes that spoke of distant lands and hidden stories. His name was Jacques, a former resistance fighter turned poet, whose words captured the soul of a nation in flux. Evelyn sensed a kinship with him, a shared understanding of the power of words to transcend time and space. As she listened to his tales, she felt the pulse of history beneath her fingertips, each verse a heartbeat in the rhythm of change. Jacques spoke of a world divided by ideology, of the Iron Curtain that had descended across Europe, splitting families and friends. He described the struggle of those who longed for freedom, for the chance to live without fear or repression. His words painted vivid images of clandestine meetings and whispered secrets, of the courage and sacrifice of those who dared to dream of a better world. Evelyn's pen moved swiftly across the page, capturing the essence of Jacques' stories, infusing them with her own insights and reflections. She wrote of a young woman named Anya, a gifted pianist trapped behind the Iron Curtain, whose music transcended borders and spoke to the universal longing for connection and understanding. Anya's story unfolded with a quiet intensity, each note a testament to her resilience and hope. As Evelyn wrote, she felt the weight of history pressing upon her, the responsibility to honor the lives and dreams of those who had come before. She understood that her stories were more than mere words on a page. They were a bridge between past and present, a means of preserving the memory of a world in flux. The day wore on, the sun climbing higher in the sky, casting long shadows that danced across the room. Evelyn paused, her gaze drawn to the window, where the world outside shimmered with possibilities. She thought of the countless stories waiting to be told, each one a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity. In the quiet of her room, Evelyn made a silent vow to be a custodian of stories, to give voice to those who had been silenced by the passage of time. She would weave together the threads of history, creating a tapestry of human experience that spanned generations and continents. With a renewed sense of purpose, Evelyn returned to her writing, her pen a conduit for the hopes and dreams of a world in transition. She wrote of a small village in India, where a young girl named Mira dared to defy tradition and pursue her education, her determination a beacon of change in a society bound by rigid customs. Mira's journey was one of courage and self-discovery, her story a testament to the power of knowledge and the transformative potential of dreams. Evelyn's words flowed like a river, carrying with them the essence of a world in flux. She wrote of the civil rights movement in America, of the brave men and women who marched for equality and justice, their voices raised in a chorus of hope. She painted vivid portraits of the leaders and activists who shaped history, their stories a testament to the enduring fight for freedom and dignity. As the afternoon sun began its descent, casting a warm glow over the city, Evelyn paused to reflect on the journey she had undertaken. Her stories were a mosaic of human experience, each piece a glimpse into the hearts and minds of those who had lived through a time of profound change. Evelyn knew that the path ahead would not always be easy, that there would be moments of doubt and uncertainty. But she also knew that she was not alone, that the stories she carried were a testament to the enduring strength and resilience of humanity. Her journey was far from over, for the world was ever changing, a symphony of past and future, and she was ready to embrace the dance, one story at a time. As the first stars appeared in the evening sky, Evelyn felt a deep sense of peace and fulfillment. She was a storyteller, a keeper of history, and a dreamer of dreams. Her voice joined the chorus of those who had come before, a melody of hope and renewal that echoed through the corridors of time. With a heart full of gratitude and a mind brimming with stories, Evelyn rose from her desk, her spirit alight with the promise of new beginnings. The world outside was vast and ever-changing, a canvas upon which she would continue to paint the stories of a lifetime, capturing the ephemeral beauty of life and sharing it with others, one tale at a time. Evelyn stepped away from her desk, her gaze lingering on the window where the evening sky was now a deep indigo, speckled with the first stars of night. She felt the weight of history on her shoulders, a comforting presence that whispered to her of the many lives intertwined with her own. Each story she had written was a thread in a vast tapestry, connecting her to the past while guiding her into the future. She walked to the bookshelf, her fingers brushing against the spines of books that had been her companions through many a sleepless night. These were the chronicles of a world transformed after 1945, each page a testament to the profound changes that had reshaped nations and lives. The war had ended, but its shadows lingered, casting new light on the paths that lay ahead. Evelyn thought of the stories that had touched her most deeply, the tales of families torn apart and reunited, of cities rebuilt from ruins, and of dreams that had risen like phoenixes from the ashes of conflict. These were stories of courage and resilience, of a world that refused to be broken, even as it grappled with the ghosts of its past. The wind outside whispered secrets through the trees, and Evelyn felt the call of the night, urging her to step beyond the confines of her study. She wrapped a warm shawl around her shoulders, the fabric soft and comforting against her skin. As she opened the door and stepped into the cool night air, the scent of jasmine enveloped her, a fragrant reminder of the beauty that persisted even in the darkest of times. The garden path was illuminated by the silvery glow of the moon, casting gentle shadows that danced in the breeze. Evelyn walked slowly, savoring the quietude, her mind a kaleidoscope of memories and possibilities. She carried with her the stories of those who had dared to dream in the face of adversity, their voices echoing in her heart. As she reached the edge of the garden, Evelyn paused, her eyes drawn to the horizon. The world beyond was vast and brimming with potential, a canvas yet to be painted with the hues of tomorrow. She thought of the many changes that had swept across the globe in the decades following 1945, and how each new chapter had brought with it both challenges and opportunities. There was the story of a young man in Berlin, who had grown up in the shadow of the wall that divided his city and his heart. He had dreamed of a world without barriers, a dream that had seemed impossible until one fateful night when the wall came tumbling down. Evelyn had listened to his story, her heart aching with the weight of his longing and the joy of his eventual liberation. Then there was the tale of a woman in India, who had witnessed the birth of her nation amidst the turmoil of partition. Her journey had been one of resilience and hope, as she navigated a landscape marked by both beauty and strife. Evelyn had marveled at her strength, her spirit unbroken even in the face of profound loss. These stories, and so many others, had woven themselves into the fabric of Evelyn's being, each one a reminder of the indomitable spirit of humanity. As she stood beneath the starlit sky, she felt a renewed sense of purpose, a calling to continue the work she had begun. The night was alive with the sound of crickets, their song a gentle lullaby that soothed her soul. Evelyn closed her eyes, allowing herself to be carried away by the music of the night, her thoughts drifting on the breeze. She imagined the stories yet to be told, the lives yet to be touched by the pen of history. In the distance, a soft rustling caught her attention, drawing her back to the present. She opened her eyes to find a figure emerging from the shadows, a familiar silhouette that stirred a sense of anticipation within her. It was Daniel, an old friend and fellow storyteller, whose arrival was always marked by a shared understanding of the world and its intricacies. "Evelyn," he greeted her warmly, his voice a rich baritone that blended seamlessly with the night. "I thought I might find you here." She smiled, the warmth of his presence a balm to her soul. "Daniel, what a pleasant surprise. Have you come to share a story with me?" He chuckled softly, a sound that resonated with the ease of old companionship. "Indeed, I have. But first, tell me, how are you faring? What stories have captured your heart of late?" Evelyn gestured to the path beside her, inviting him to join her in the garden's embrace. They walked together, their steps in harmony, as she recounted the tales that had recently woven their way into her life. She spoke of the young man from Berlin and the woman from India, their stories a testament to the enduring power of hope and renewal. Daniel listened intently, his expression thoughtful as they wandered beneath the canopy of stars. When Evelyn had finished, he nodded, his eyes reflecting the light of the moon. Such stories remind us of the resilience of the human spirit, don't they? Even in the face of unimaginable challenges, there is always a thread of hope that binds us together. Evelyn nodded, her heart swelling with gratitude for the shared understanding that bound them together. "Yes, and I feel that it is our duty to share these stories, to ensure that the lessons of the past are not forgotten." They walked in silence for a while, the night enveloping them in its gentle embrace. The air was cool and fragrant, a balm to their weary souls. As they reached the garden bench, they sat together, the wooden seat creaking softly beneath their weight. Daniel turned to her, his gaze steady and sincere. "Evelyn, there is something I have been meaning to discuss with you. A story that I believe needs to be told, now more than ever." Intrigued, Evelyn leaned closer, her curiosity piqued by the urgency in his voice. "Tell me, Daniel, what is this story that calls to you so strongly?" He paused, gathering his thoughts, and when he spoke, his words were imbued with a quiet intensity. "It's the story of our changing world, of the challenges we face as we stand on the brink of a new era. The shadows of the past still linger, but there is also a light on the horizon, a promise of a future shaped by compassion and understanding." Evelyn listened, captivated by the vision he painted with his words. She could see the story taking shape, a narrative that wove together the threads of history and the promise of what was yet to come. It was a story of transformation, of a world that had been irrevocably changed by the events of 1945 and beyond. As Daniel spoke, Evelyn felt a deep sense of purpose welling up within her. She realized that this was the story she had been waiting for, the tale that would guide her in the days to come. It was a story of hope and renewal, of a world that was constantly evolving, and she knew that she was ready to embrace it. Together, they sat beneath the stars, their voices a chorus of hope and determination. The night stretched out before them, vast and endless, a canvas upon which they would continue to paint the stories of a lifetime. And as they spoke, their words echoed through the corridors of time, a melody of possibility that promised new beginnings and the enduring strength of the human spirit. The night air was cool and crisp, a gentle whisper that caressed their skin as Evelyn and Daniel sat beneath the vast expanse of the cosmos. The stars above them twinkled like ancient storytellers, each one silently recounting tales of long-forgotten times. The universe seemed to lean in closer, curious to hear the narrative unfurling from these two souls on Earth, as if the very stars themselves were taking notes on the evolving saga of humanity. Evelyn closed her eyes for a moment, letting the words Daniel had spoken sink deep into her consciousness. In the quiet darkness behind her eyelids, she could almost see the events he described, feel the seismic shifts that rippled through history. The end of the Second World War was like the end of an era, yet it was also the beginning of something infinitely larger, a complex tapestry of change and rebirth, of nations reshaping their destinies and individuals finding their paths in a world that no longer fit the old patterns. "You know," Daniel's voice broke into her reverie, soft yet resonant, "it's fascinating how history is both a mirror and a map. A mirror reflecting who we've been and a map showing us where we might go." Evelyn opened her eyes, meeting his thoughtful gaze. "It's a powerful thought," she replied, "and it's one that reminds me just how connected we all are, across continents and cultures. The world after 1945 was a web of intersections, wasn't it?" Daniel nodded, leaning back against the moss-covered log that served as their makeshift seat. "Indeed, the ripples of change touched every corner of the globe. Decolonization, the Cold War, the rise of new powers. Each event a thread woven into the larger fabric of our shared history." Evelyn could feel the weight of those words, the enormity of the transformations they described. The end of colonial empires and the birth of new nations, the ideological struggle between East and West, the technological leaps that promised to redefine human existence. It was all part of an intricate dance, a choreography of chaos and creation. Their conversation meandered like a river, sometimes rushing forward with excitement, other times lingering in contemplative eddies. They spoke of the remarkable figures who had left indelible marks on the world, leaders and visionaries, artists and scientists, each contributing to the grand narrative in their unique ways. What about the everyday people? Evelyn mused aloud, her mind turning to the countless lives interwoven with the grand events of history. The ones whose stories aren't always told but who lived through it all, adapting and surviving. Daniel smiled, a glimmer of admiration in his eyes. Ah, the unsung heroes. Their resilience is the true backbone of history. They're the ones who remind us that even in the midst of upheaval, life goes on. Communities are rebuilt, families persevere, and cultures evolve. As the night deepened, their words became more introspective, delving into the personal dimensions of change. Evelyn found herself sharing her own family's stories, tales of perseverance and adaptation in a world that seemed to shift beneath their feet. Daniel listened intently, his own anecdotes weaving seamlessly with hers, creating a rich tapestry of human experience. In the quiet moments between their exchanges, the forest around them seemed to hold its breath, as if absorbing the stories like a sponge. The rustle of leaves in the night breeze was a gentle reminder of the world beyond, a world that was both ancient and ever new, just like the stories they shared. As dawn's first light began to paint the horizon with hues of pink and gold, Evelyn felt a profound sense of connection not only to Daniel but to the vast continuum of humanity. The conversation had been a journey, one that had taken them across continents and through time, exploring the myriad ways in which the world had been reshaped since that pivotal year of 1945. "There's so much more to discover," Evelyn said softly, her voice carrying the promise of future adventures. "I feel like we're just scratching the surface." Daniel nodded, a smile playing on his lips. "And that's the beauty of it. History is an endless wall of stories, each one waiting to be uncovered and shared. It's a reminder that transformation is a constant, and that there's always more to learn, more to understand." With the first rays of sunlight warming their faces, they rose from their seat beneath the stars, the night having given way to a new day filled with possibilities. There was a sense of renewal in the air, a feeling that the stories they had shared were seeds planted in fertile ground, ready to grow and flourish. As they walked back towards the path that would lead them home, Evelyn felt a quiet determination settle within her. The world was indeed changing, and she was ready to be a part of that change, to contribute her own chapter to the ongoing narrative of humanity. In the days that followed, Evelyn and Daniel continued to explore the post-1945 world, diving deeper into the intricacies of history. They visited museums and libraries, attended lectures and seminars, each experience adding new layers to their understanding of the era. They sought out the voices of those who had lived through the transformations, listening to first-hand accounts that brought history to life in vivid detail. Evelyn found herself particularly drawn to the stories of women who had navigated the changing tides of the 20th century. She discovered tales of courage and innovation, of women who had broken barriers and forged new paths in fields ranging from science to politics to the arts. Their stories resonated with her, inspiring her to embrace her own potential and to advocate for the voices of those who were often overlooked. One evening, as they sat together in a cozy cafe, sipping steaming cups of tea, Daniel turned to Evelyn with a thoughtful expression. "You know, we've been so focused on the past and the present. But what about the future? How do we take the lessons of history and apply them to the challenges we face today?" Evelyn considered his question, feeling the weight of its importance. "I think it starts with understanding that we're all part of a larger story," she replied slowly. "We need to recognize our interconnectedness, our shared responsibility to one another and to the planet. The post-1945 world taught us that change is possible, that new beginnings can emerge from even the darkest moments. We have to hold onto that hope and work together to create a future that reflects the values we believe in." Daniel nodded, his eyes alight with agreement. It's about building bridges, isn't it? Between nations, cultures, and generations. And about finding ways to address the pressing issues of our time, inequality, climate change, conflict, with creativity and compassion. Their conversation flowed late into the night, a dialogue of dreams and determination. They spoke of initiatives they could support, of ways to engage with their communities and inspire others to join them in the pursuit of positive change. It was a conversation that left them both invigorated, ready to take action and make a difference in whatever ways they could. As they parted ways that night, Evelyn felt a renewed sense of purpose, a clarity that guided her steps. The world was indeed changing, and she was determined to be an active participant in shaping its future. The stories of the past had shown her the way, illuminating the path forward with their wisdom and resilience. And so, with hope in her heart and the promise of new beginnings on the horizon, Evelyn embraced the journey ahead, ready to write her own story in the ever-evolving narrative of the world. The morning sun filtered gently through the curtains, casting a warm, golden hue across the room where Evelyn lay. She awoke with a sense of calm determination, the kind that comes after a night of meaningful conversation and shared dreams. The words exchanged with her friend echoed in her mind, each syllable a reminder of the commitments they had made to themselves and to the world. Evelyn rose from her bed, the soft carpet welcoming her feet as she moved towards the window. She opened it slightly, allowing the crisp morning air to seep in, carrying with it the sounds of a world bustling to life. Birds greeted the day with a chorus of melodies, and somewhere in the distance, a train whistled its early morning song. The city beyond her window was a tapestry of movement and color, a living organism that pulsed with the energy of countless lives intersecting and diverging. As she prepared for the day, Evelyn's thoughts wandered to the stories she had read and the people she had met through her journeys. Each story was a thread in the fabric of the world's history, each person a node of change and possibility. She remembered the resilience of communities recovering from conflict, the innovative spirit of those tackling environmental challenges, and the unwavering hope of individuals striving for equality and justice. Determined to contribute in her own way, Evelyn had recently joined a local initiative focused on environmental sustainability. Their mission was to transform urban spaces into green havens, creating community gardens and advocating for policies that promoted eco-friendly practices. Today was the day they would meet to plan their next project, and Evelyn was eager to dive into the work. Arriving at the community center, she was greeted by a group of like-minded individuals, each one driven by a shared vision of a greener, more sustainable future. There was Tom, with his wealth of knowledge about urban planning, Lila, a passionate advocate for renewable energy, and Marcus, whose artistic flair brought creativity to their projects. Together, they formed a dynamic team, each contributing their unique skills and perspectives. The meeting began with a spirited discussion about their upcoming project, transforming a neglected park into a vibrant community garden. The park, once a lively gathering place, had fallen into disrepair over the years, its swings rusted and its paths overgrown. But where others saw decay, Evelyn and her team saw potential. They envisioned a space blossoming with native plants, buzzing with the laughter of children, and serving as a sanctuary for both people and wildlife. As they brainstormed ideas, the room buzzed with energy. Sketches and plans covered the table, a testament to their collective creativity. Evelyn suggested incorporating raised beds to make gardening accessible to everyone, regardless of physical ability. Tom proposed a rainwater collection system to irrigate the plants sustainably. Lila championed the idea of installing solar lights to illuminate the paths at night, reducing the park's carbon footprint. "Let's not just make this a garden," Marcus added, his eyes alight with enthusiasm. Let's make it a living art installation. We could have workshops where people can create sculptures from recycled materials, adding a unique touch to the garden. The idea was met with unanimous excitement. They could already envision the park as a vibrant fusion of nature and art, a place where creativity and sustainability coexisted in harmony. It was a project that promised to breathe new life into the community, fostering a sense of ownership and pride among its residents. As the meeting drew to a close, there was a palpable sense of anticipation in the air. They had a plan, a vision, and the determination to see it through. Evelyn felt a surge of gratitude for this group of individuals, for their shared commitment to making a difference. It was a reminder that even the smallest actions could ripple outwards, creating waves of change in the world. Leaving the community center, Evelyn walked through the city streets, her mind alight with possibilities. The world around her felt vibrant and alive, each moment a chance to connect, to learn, to grow. She passed by a mural depicting scenes from the city's history, a vivid reminder of the stories that had shaped the place she called home. It was a testament to resilience and reinvention, to the ever-changing tapestry of human endeavor. As she continued her journey, Evelyn found herself drawn to a quiet corner of the city she had not explored before. There, nestled between two towering buildings, was a small, tucked-away bookstore. Its windows were filled with an eclectic mix of titles, their colorful spines promising adventures and insights. Stepping inside, Evelyn was enveloped by the comforting scent of paper and ink. The store was a treasure trove of stories, each book a portal to another world. She wandered through the aisles, her fingers brushing against the spines, until a particular title caught her eye. It was a collection of essays on the power of storytelling, a theme that resonated deeply with her own journey. Taking a seat in a cozy reading nook, Evelyn began to leaf through the pages. The essays spoke of the ways in which stories had shaped societies, inspired movements, and fostered empathy across cultures. They explored the transformative power of narrative, the ability to bridge divides and illuminate shared human experiences. Lost in thought, Evelyn considered the role of stories in her own life. They had been her compass, guiding her through uncertainty and igniting her passions. They had connected her with others, sparking conversations that transcended time and place. In a world that was constantly changing, stories were a constant, a thread that wove together past, present, and future. The afternoon light began to wane as Evelyn reluctantly closed the book, promising herself to return and explore its pages further. She left the bookstore with a sense of wonder, her mind alive with ideas. Stories, she realized, were not just tales of the past. They were blueprints for the future, tools for shaping the world one narrative at a time. As she made her way home, Evelyn felt a profound sense of connection to the world around her. The challenges she and her community faced were daunting, but they were not insurmountable. With creativity, compassion, and a willingness to listen to each other's stories, they could forge a path forward. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold as Evelyn arrived at her doorstep. She paused for a moment, taking in the beauty of the twilight. The air was cool and crisp, a gentle reminder of the changing seasons. With a deep breath, Evelyn stepped inside, ready to embrace the evening with gratitude and hope. The conversations, the plans, the stories, they were all part of a larger tapestry, a testament to the power of community and the indomitable spirit of those who dared to dream of a better world. And so, with renewed purpose and a heart full of possibility, Evelyn settled into the comforting embrace of home, ready to continue her journey in the ever-evolving narrative of the world. As the evening unfurled its quiet magic, Evelyn moved through her home with a sense of peace and determination. The gentle glow of lamplight spilled across the room, casting long, soft shadows that danced in time with the flickering candle on the mantelpiece. She set about her usual evening rituals, the familiar motions grounding her in the present moment while her mind wandered through the echoes of the day's discussions. The radio hummed softly in the background, a comforting murmur of music and voices that had become a constant companion. It was a world in itself, each station a window into distant lands, each voice a thread connecting her to stories beyond her own. Evelyn found solace in this symphony of sounds, a reminder that she was part of something much larger than herself. As she prepared a simple dinner, her thoughts drifted back to the meeting earlier in the day. The room had been filled with an energy that was both exhilarating and daunting. There had been heated debates, passionate pleas, and moments of profound clarity. Evelyn recalled the faces of her fellow community members, each etched with determination and hope. They were ordinary people with extraordinary dreams, united by a shared vision of a world transformed. Evelyn thought of Mr. Thompson, the local farmer, who had stood up to speak about sustainable agriculture. His weathered hands had gestured emphatically as he talked about the importance of nurturing the land, of giving back as much as they took. There was wisdom in his words, a deep understanding of the symbiotic relationship between humanity and nature. Evelyn had listened intently, her mind racing with possibilities. Could they really shift their practices to be more harmonious with the earth? The task seemed monumental, yet in Mr. Thompson's eyes, she saw a spark of determination that was infectious. Later, Mrs. Carver, the schoolteacher, had shared her vision for education. Her voice was soft but carried a conviction that resonated with everyone in the room. She spoke of nurturing curiosity, of teaching children not just facts and figures but the skills to think critically and compassionately. Evelyn had nodded along, her heart swelling with admiration. She remembered the joy of learning in her own childhood, the thrill of discovering new worlds through books and stories. It was a gift she wanted for every child in their community, and Mrs. Carver's passion made it seem attainable. As Evelyn sat down to eat, she allowed herself a moment of quiet reflection. The challenges they faced were immense, but the day's discussions had filled her with a renewed sense of hope. Each story shared, each idea proposed, was a step towards a future they all believed in. The path was fraught with uncertainty, but it was also real. They were not just dreaming of change, they were laying the groundwork for it. Outside, the world was settling into the stillness of night. The stars began to emerge, pinpricks of light in the velvet sky. Evelyn finished her meal, savoring each bite as if it were a celebration of life itself. She washed up the dishes, her hands moving rhythmically through the warm water while her mind continued to wander through the tapestry of the day's events. Afterwards, she settled into her favorite armchair by the window, a steaming cup of tea cradled in her hands. The view outside was serene, the garden bathed in silver moonlight. Evelyn felt a deep contentment, a quiet joy that came from knowing she was part of something meaningful. The future was uncertain, but it was also unwritten, a canvas waiting to be filled with the colors of their dreams. As the night deepened, Evelyn allowed herself to indulge in a ritual she held dear. She reached for the journal on the table beside her, its pages filled with her thoughts and musings. Writing was a form of meditation, a way to process the world and her place within it. She opened to a fresh page and began to write, her pen moving swiftly across the paper as she captured the essence of the day's meeting, the voices and visions that had filled the room. Her words flowed like a river, carrying with them the hopes and fears, the dreams and doubts of a community on the cusp of transformation. She wrote about the challenges they faced, the questions that lingered unanswered, and the determination to forge ahead despite the unknown. Her journal entries were a chronicle of change, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. As the clock ticked past midnight, Evelyn paused, her pen hovering above the page. She felt the weight of the world settling around her, a gentle pressure that was both comforting and daunting. The journey ahead was long, fraught with twists and turns, but it was a journey worth taking. Together, they could build a future where compassion and creativity reigned, where every voice was heard, and every story was honored. With a satisfied sigh, Evelyn closed her journal, feeling a sense of completion. The night was still and quiet, a soft blanket of silence wrapping around her. She took a final sip of her tea, savoring the warmth that spread through her body, a reminder of the simple pleasures in life. The world outside slumbered, unaware of the stories being woven within its embrace. Evelyn lingered a moment longer, gazing out at the moonlit garden. The world was changing, evolving with each passing day, and she was a part of that change. It was a humbling realization, one that filled her with both awe and responsibility. The path ahead was uncertain, but it was also full of promise. With a heart full of hope, she rose from her chair, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The night held its breath as Evelyn prepared for bed, the peaceful rhythm of her routine lulling her into a state of calm. She climbed beneath the covers, the softness of the sheets enveloping her like a cocoon. Her mind was a whirl of thoughts and dreams, a kaleidoscope of possibilities. As she closed her eyes, she whispered a silent vow to herself and to the world she loved, to keep dreaming, to keep fighting for a better tomorrow. And so, as the stars watched over her, Evelyn drifted into the realm of dreams, her spirit soaring free, her heart anchored in hope. The world was changing, and she was ready to meet it, one story at a time. As the dawn broke, the first light of day spread across Evelyn's room like a gentle whisper, gently awakening her from the world of dreams. The air was cool and crisp, carrying with it the scent of dew and the distant promise of yet another day. She lay still for a moment, savoring the silence, feeling the soft caress of the morning sun on her skin. It was a new day, full of possibilities and challenges waiting to unfold. Evelyn finally rose, her senses gradually waking to the subtle symphony of life outside her window. The birds were already engaged in their morning chorus, a melodic backdrop to the bustling world that lay beyond her small sanctuary. She stretched, feeling the tension of sleep leave her body, and moved towards the window, pulling back the curtains to let the light flood in. The garden, bathed in the golden glow of the rising sun, looked almost ethereal, its colors vibrant and alive. With a deep breath, Evelyn felt a renewed sense of purpose. The events of the previous weeks played like a film in her mind, a tapestry of moments that had both challenged and inspired her. The world was indeed changing, and she was determined to be an active participant in its evolution. There was work to be done, stories to be told, and change to be embraced. After a quick breakfast, she sat at her desk, surrounded by notes and clippings, the remnants of her ongoing project. The room was filled with the comforting scent of paper and ink, a reminder of the many stories yet to be written. She picked up her pen, its familiar weight grounding her in the moment, and began to write, her thoughts flowing freely, her words painting a vivid picture of the world as it was and as it could be. The hours slipped by unnoticed, the dance of the pen across the paper a soothing rhythm that carried her through the morning. Every now and then, she paused to sip her tea, its warmth a comforting companion in her solitary endeavor. The world outside her window continued its dance, a silent observer to her musings and reflections. As the afternoon light began to soften, Evelyn decided to take a walk, to clear her mind and find inspiration in the world around her. She stepped outside, the earthy aroma of the garden enveloping her, the gentle rustle of leaves a welcome melody. The path through the garden was a familiar one, each step taking her deeper into a world of wonder and tranquility. But today, something felt different. There was a tension in the air, a subtle shift that stirred her senses. As she walked, she noticed the little changes, the way the wind seemed to carry whispers of secrets long forgotten, the way the shadows danced with a life of their own. It was as if the world was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. The path led her deeper into the woods, the trees standing tall and silent, their branches weaving a tapestry of light and shadow on the forest floor. The air was cooler here, the sounds of the world more distant, as if she had stepped into another realm. Evelyn felt a shiver run down her spine, a thrill of anticipation that quickened her pace. And then she saw it, a clearing she had never noticed before, bathed in an otherworldly light. In the center stood an ancient oak, its gnarled branches reaching for the sky, a silent guardian of secrets untold. She approached with a mix of awe and reverence, her heart pounding in her chest, a symphony of curiosity and caution. As she drew closer, she noticed something unusual, a small, intricately carved box nestled among the roots of the tree. It seemed out of place, a relic from another time, its surface worn but still beautiful, the patterns telling stories of a forgotten world. Evelyn hesitated for a moment, her mind racing with possibilities, before finally reaching out to touch it. The box was cool to the touch, its surface smooth and inviting. As her fingers traced the intricate carvings, she felt a connection, a sense of familiarity that was both comforting and unsettling. Taking a deep breath, she slowly lifted the lid, revealing its contents, a collection of letters, their edges yellowed with age, the ink faded but still legible. Her heart leapt with excitement as she carefully unfolded the first letter, the words whispering secrets of the past, tales of love and loss, of courage and hope. Each letter was a window into another world, a glimpse of a life lived in a time she could only imagine. She read them all, her mind a whirlwind of emotions, her heart full of wonder and empathy. The sun began to set, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink. As Evelyn sat beneath the ancient oak, the letters spread out before her like a map of dreams. She felt the weight of history in her hands, the stories of those who had come before her, their hopes and fears echoing through time. As the first stars appeared in the sky, she carefully placed the letters back in the box, a silent promise to honor their stories, to share them with the world. She closed the lid, feeling a sense of peace wash over her, a connection to something greater than herself. With the box tucked safely under her arm, Evelyn began her journey back home, the path illuminated by the soft glow of the moon. The world was quiet now, the night a gentle embrace, the stars watching over her like old friends. She felt a sense of purpose, a resolve to carry these stories forward, to weave them into the fabric of her own narrative. In the days that followed, Evelyn pored over the letters, piecing together the lives of those who had come before her, their struggles and triumphs a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. She wrote their stories with care, her words a tribute to the past and a beacon of hope for the future. And so, she became a bridge between worlds, her heart a repository of dreams and memories, her voice a chorus of those who had walked the path before her. The world was changing, evolving with each passing day, and Evelyn was ready to meet it, one story at a time. As she sat at her desk, the moonlight casting a gentle glow over her work, she felt a sense of fulfillment, a quiet joy that came from knowing she was part of something greater. The world was a tapestry of stories, each thread unique and precious, and she was honored to be a weaver of dreams. With a heart full of hope and a spirit unyielding, Evelyn continued her journey, her footsteps echoing through time, her stories a testament to the power of the human spirit. The world was changing, and she was ready to change with it, one story at a time. Evelyn's heart swelled with purpose as she continued to weave the threads of history into a tapestry of stories. The quiet hum of the night surrounded her, a symphony of whispers carried by the gentle breeze that drifted through her open window. Outside, the world was cloaked in a serene darkness, the kind that invites introspection and dreams. Her desk was a sanctuary, cluttered with papers, books, and photographs that had become her companions over the years. Each artifact held a story, a fragment of the past waiting to be pieced together. Evelyn's fingers traced the edges of a faded photograph, her touch gentle and reverent, as if she could feel the pulse of life that had once animated the faces captured within it. In the photograph, a group of young women stood arm in arm, their smiles wide and unguarded, their eyes bright with the promise of the future. They were factory workers during the war, their hands skilled in building the machines that powered the Allied forces. Evelyn had interviewed many of them, their voices echoing in her mind as she recalled their tales of camaraderie, hardship, and unshakable resolve. She remembered Martha, a spirited woman with a laugh that could light up a room. Martha had recounted stories of working long hours, her hands stained with oil and determination. Yet, amid the toil, there was joy, a sense of purpose that bound the women together in their shared mission. They had been more than co-workers. They were sisters in arms, forging a bond that transcended the factory walls. Evelyn's pen moved swiftly across the page, capturing the essence of their experiences with a poetic grace. She wrote of their laughter and tears, their dreams and fears, painting a vivid picture of life on the home front. As she wrote, she imagined the rhythmic clatter of machinery, the hum of industry that had once filled the air, a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who had labored in its shadow. Her thoughts drifted to another story, one that had haunted her dreams since she first heard it. It was the tale of a young soldier named Thomas, whose journey from the quiet fields of his hometown to the war-torn landscapes of Europe had been fraught with danger and sacrifice. Thomas had survived the horrors of battle, his soul scarred but unbroken, and Evelyn had been captivated by his resilience. Thomas had spoken of the camaraderie among soldiers, the unspoken bond forged in the crucible of war. He had described the terror of combat, the deafening roar of artillery, and the heart-stopping moments of silence that followed, pregnant with anticipation. Yet, amid the chaos, there was a profound sense of connection, a recognition of shared humanity that transcended the boundaries of nation and language. Evelyn's pen danced across the page, weaving Thomas's story into the fabric of her narrative. She wrote of his bravery and fear, his dreams of home and the love that awaited him there. She imagined his footsteps echoing through the corridors of time, a testament to the enduring power of hope and resilience. As she wrote, Evelyn became aware of a subtle shift in the air, a whisper of change that seemed to vibrate through the room. She paused, listening intently, her senses attuned to the world around her. The night was alive with sounds. The rustle of leaves, the distant call of an owl, the gentle susurrus of the wind. In that moment, she felt a connection to the stories she was telling, a visceral understanding of the lives that had shaped the world she inhabited. The past was not a distant memory, but a living, breathing presence, its echoes reverberating through the present. Evelyn felt a profound sense of gratitude, a recognition of her role as a custodian of history, a bridge between the past and the future. Yet, amid the serenity of the night, there lingered an undercurrent of suspense, a sense that the world was on the cusp of transformation. The stories Evelyn was uncovering were not merely relics of a bygone era. They were harbingers of change, signposts pointing toward a future yet to be written. As dawn began to paint the horizon with hues of pink and gold, Evelyn set down her pen and gazed out the window, her heart filled with anticipation. The world was evolving, its landscape shifting in ways both subtle and profound. The end of the war had heralded a new era, one marked by technological advancements, social upheavals, and the reimagining of boundaries both literal and metaphorical. Evelyn knew that the stories she was telling were part of this transformation, a record of humanity's journey through the crucible of history. She felt a sense of responsibility, a duty to honor the voices of the past and to illuminate the path forward. The sun crept higher, casting a warm glow over her desk, and Evelyn felt a surge of energy, a renewed determination to continue her work. There were more stories to tell, more lives to honor, and she was ready to meet the challenge, her pen poised to capture the essence of a world in flux. With a heart full of hope and a spirit unyielding, Evelyn embraced the dawn of a new day, ready to weave the next chapter in the tapestry of history. The world was changing, and she was ready to change with it, one story at a time. Evelyn took a deep breath, feeling the weight of history settle comfortably on her shoulders. The air was fragrant with the scent of blooming jasmine from the garden below, a small reminder that even amidst the chaos of human history, the natural world continued its unending cycle of renewal. She opened the window to let in the cool morning breeze, its gentle caress whispering promises of discovery and revelation. Her study was a sanctuary, a haven filled with books and artifacts from different eras, each object a silent witness to the stories she sought to uncover. The walls were lined with maps and photographs, a mosaic of humanity's triumphs and tribulations. Evelyn ran her fingers over the spines of the tomes that held the secrets of the past, their leather bindings cool and reassuring. Today, her focus was on a particular story that had long intrigued her, a tale of courage and resilience set against the backdrop of a world teetering on the edge of a new order. It was the story of Mira, a young woman from a small village in Eastern Europe, whose life had been irrevocably altered by the seismic shifts of post-war politics. Mira's journey was one of survival and adaptation, a microcosm of the broader human experience in the aftermath of World War II. Her village, nestled in a valley surrounded by dense forests, had once been a place of tranquility. But with the war's end and the onset of the Cold War, it found itself caught in the crossfire of ideological battles, its people forced to navigate a landscape fraught with uncertainty. Evelyn imagined Mira walking through the village, her feet tracing paths worn smooth by generations. The air would be thick with the scent of pine and the distant murmur of a river winding its way through the valley. Mira's eyes, sharp and inquisitive, would take in the changes around her, the new faces, the whispers of political intrigue, the subtle shifts in power that played out in hushed conversations behind closed doors. As Evelyn delved deeper into Mira's story, she could almost hear the rustle of leaves underfoot, the echo of footsteps on cobblestones. Mira was a child of war, her childhood marked by the sound of distant gunfire and the ever-present fear of the unknown. Yet, she was also a child of peace, her spirit unbroken, her dreams undeterred by the shadows of conflict. Mira's life was an intricate dance of survival and hope, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. She had learned to read the signs of the changing world, to decipher the coded messages in the shifting alliances and the veiled threats. Her eyes, Evelyn imagined, would be as sharp as an eagle's, able to pierce the fog of uncertainty and see the truths hidden beneath. In the quiet of her study, Evelyn felt a kinship with Mira, a connection that transcended time and space. Both were chroniclers of their eras, tasked with capturing the essence of a world in transition. Evelyn's pen moved swiftly across the page, each stroke a tribute to Myra's strength and courage. As she wrote, the room seemed to come alive with the voices of the past. Evelyn could almost hear the laughter of children playing in the streets, the hum of sewing machines in the village's small garment factory, the crackling of radios broadcasting news from the outside world. These sounds were the backdrop to Myra's life, a symphony of ordinary moments that belied the extraordinary challenges she faced. Evelyn paused, her pen hovering above the paper, as she reflected on the complexities of Myra's journey. It was a story of contrasts, of light and shadow, of joy and sorrow. Myra had experienced the exhilaration of freedom and the despair of betrayal, the warmth of community and the isolation of exile. Her life was a tapestry of emotions, each thread woven with care and precision. In the midst of this tumultuous world, Myra had found solace in the simple pleasures of life. She cherished the beauty of a sunset over the valley, the comfort of a familiar melody, the warmth of a shared meal with loved ones. These moments, Evelyn realized, were the true markers of resilience, the small acts of defiance against the chaos that threatened to engulf them. The morning wore on, the sun's rays growing stronger as they streamed through the window, casting intricate patterns on the floor. Evelyn's mind was a whirlwind of images and ideas, fragments of Myra's story coming together to form a cohesive narrative. There was a particular incident that stood out in Myra's tale, a moment of decision that would shape the course of her life. It was a night like any other, the village cloaked in darkness, the stars scattered like diamonds across the sky. Myra had been tasked with delivering a message, a simple piece of paper that held the power to change everything. The message was for a man she had never met, a stranger whose fate was intertwined with her own. As she made her way through the shadows, Myra's heart pounded in her chest, each beat a reminder of the risk she was taking. The path was familiar, yet every step felt fraught with peril, the silence around her heavy with the weight of unspoken fears. Evelyn's pulse quickened as she imagined the scene, Myra's silhouette moving through the night like a wraith. The air would be crisp, the scent of earth and leaves mingling with the faint aroma of wood smoke from distant fires. Each sound, each rustle of wind, would be magnified in the stillness, a symphony of tension and anticipation. Myra's hand, trembling yet steady, would reach for the door of the rendezvous point, her breath caught in her throat. The message, encoded in the language of resistance, was a beacon of hope, a promise of change in a world desperate for transformation. It was a moment of reckoning, a test of courage and conviction. Evelyn's pen moved with purpose, capturing the essence of this pivotal moment, the quiet strength that defined Myra's character. It was a story of bravery in the face of adversity, of hope in the shadow of despair. Myra's journey was a mirror of the human condition, a reflection of the eternal struggle for freedom and dignity. As the day unfolded, Evelyn felt a profound sense of gratitude for the privilege of telling Myra's story. It was a gift, a reminder of the power of narrative to bridge the gaps between past and present, to illuminate the path forward in a world constantly changing. Evelyn knew that her work was far from finished. There were more tales to uncover, more lives to honor, and she was ready to continue her journey, one story at a time. The world was a tapestry of human experience, each thread a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, and Evelyn was determined to weave it together, to create a legacy of hope and understanding for generations to come. As Evelyn sat back in her chair, the gentle hum of the typewriter still echoing in her ears, she allowed herself a moment of reflection. She gazed out of the window of her modest study, where the afternoon sun painted long shadows across the room, dancing like whispers of the past. The world outside seemed to breathe with the rhythm of change, a living testament to the stories she sought to tell. Her mind wandered back to the first time she had heard of Mira, a name whispered in hushed tones at a gathering of survivors. It was a small meeting, a circle of individuals who had endured the unimaginable and yet found the strength to speak of their experiences. Evelyn had been young, eager to learn and to understand the depths of human courage. It was there that she had first been captivated by Myra's story, a tale that had lingered in her thoughts, waiting patiently to be woven into the fabric of her own work. The sound of a bird chirping outside brought her back to the present, and she placed her hands on the typewriter once more. The keys felt familiar beneath her fingers, each click a heartbeat in the narrative she was crafting. As she resumed her work, she realized that Myra's story was not just a chapter in the history of a changing world. It was a beacon of resilience and hope, a reminder that even in the darkest times, there is light. Evelyn's determination grew with each word. She knew that the stories she uncovered were not merely relics of the past but living echoes that resonated through the present. They were the voices of those who had walked through fire and emerged stronger, the stories of individuals who had dared to dream of a better world and had fought to make it a reality. The afternoon sun began its descent, casting an amber glow over the room. Evelyn paused to stretch, her thoughts drifting to the other stories she had yet to tell. Each one was a thread in the vast tapestry of human experience, a testament to the indomitable spirit that had carried humanity through wars and upheavals, through moments of despair and triumph. Her mind wandered to the story of Raj, a young man from India who had witnessed the birth of his nation amidst the chaos of partition. His was a story of identity and belonging, of finding one's place in a newly carved world. Raj had spoken of the vivid colors of his childhood, the vibrant markets, and the sounds of celebration that filled the air. Yet, he had also shared the haunting echoes of division, the fear and uncertainty that had gripped his family as borders were redrawn. Evelyn knew that Raj's journey was one of resilience, of finding hope in the face of adversity. His story was a testament to the power of unity and the strength of community, a reminder that even in the face of division, the human spirit seeks connection. As she began to transcribe Raj's experiences, Evelyn felt a renewed sense of purpose. She was not just telling stories. She was building bridges between cultures and generations, weaving a narrative that celebrated the diversity and complexity of the human condition. The room around her seemed to pulse with the energy of the stories she was uncovering. Each tale was a lifeline, a connection to a world that had once been and a world that was yet to come. Evelyn felt a deep sense of responsibility, a duty to honor the voices of the past and to share their wisdom with the present. As evening descended, wrapping the world in a gentle embrace, Evelyn continued her work. She delved into the story of May, a young woman from China who had lived through the Cultural Revolution. May's journey was one of transformation, a testament to the power of resilience in the face of upheaval. She had spoken of the quiet strength of her family, the bonds that had held them together as the world around them changed. May's story was a reflection of the human capacity for adaptation, a reminder that even in the face of change, there is continuity. Evelyn marveled at the parallels between May's experiences and those of others she had encountered. Despite the vast distances that separated them, there was a common thread that connected their stories, a shared humanity that transcended borders and time. Evelyn's heart swelled with a sense of awe and gratitude. She realized that the stories she was gathering were more than just historical accounts. They were living testaments to the resilience of the human spirit. They were the voices of those who had dared to dream of a better world, who had fought for justice and equality, and who had never lost hope, even in the darkest of times. As the night deepened, Evelyn felt a profound sense of peace. She knew that her work was far from over, but she was ready to embrace the journey ahead. Each story was a beacon of light, illuminating the path forward in a world that was constantly changing. With a final glance at the typewriter, Evelyn rose from her chair and made her way to the window. She looked out at the night sky, where stars twinkled like distant memories, each one a reminder of the stories she had yet to tell. She felt a deep sense of connection to the world around her, a kinship with the people whose voices she was honoring. In that moment, Evelyn knew that she was part of something greater than herself. She was a storyteller, a keeper of memories, a bridge between the past and the present. And as she stood there, gazing at the stars, she felt a profound sense of hope for the future, a future that would be shaped by the stories she was privileged to tell. The world was a tapestry of human experience, each thread a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. And Evelyn was determined to weave it together, one story at a time, creating a legacy of hope and understanding for generations to come. As Evelyn stood by the window, the night air whispered through the slightly ajar pane, carrying with it the scent of rain-soaked earth and the faint, sweet aroma of blooming jasmine. The silence around her was thick, yet it hummed with the echoes of the lives she was chronicling, a symphony of voices, each with its own rhythm and cadence. She could feel the weight of their stories, pressing gently yet insistently against her heart, urging her to continue. The world beyond the glass seemed to stretch infinitely, a vast mosaic of landscapes and cultures, each with its own narrative. Evelyn closed her eyes and let her mind wander, drifting back to the stories she had gathered, the fragments of history that had unfolded in her hands like delicate petals. She remembered the tale of a young man from a small village in post-war Italy, his dreams caught in the flux of a country trying to rebuild itself. His life was a dance between tradition and change, the old world clashing with the new as he sought his place amidst the rubble of the past. His story was one of determination and sacrifice, of family bonds that transcended the ravages of conflict. Evelyn's thoughts then shifted to the account of a Japanese woman, whose life had been irrevocably altered by the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Her resilience in the face of unimaginable loss was a testament to the strength of the human spirit, her journey one of healing and forgiveness. Through her words, Evelyn had glimpsed the shadows of devastation and the glimmers of hope that followed, a poignant reminder of the duality of human existence. These stories, and countless others, were threads in the rich tapestry Evelyn was weaving. Each was imbued with the colors of human emotion, joy and sorrow, fear and courage, despair and hope. And as she stood there, bathed in the silver light of the moon, she understood that her role was not just to document these tales, but to breathe life into them, to ensure they resonated with the generations that would follow. The room around her was filled with the artifacts of her work, stacks of papers, notebooks filled with scrawled notes, photographs capturing moments frozen in time. They were her companions in this journey, silent witnesses to the unfolding saga of humanity. Evelyn felt a deep gratitude for their presence, for the stories they held and the truths they revealed. Her task was daunting, yet it was one she embraced with an unwavering sense of purpose. The world was indeed changing, shifting beneath the weight of history and the promise of the future. It was a world marked by both triumph and tragedy, where the scars of the past mingled with the dreams of tomorrow. And in this ever-evolving landscape, Evelyn saw her place clearly, as a guide, a chronicler, a beacon of understanding. With a renewed sense of determination, Evelyn turned away from the window and returned to her desk. Her fingers brushed against the keys of her typewriter, each touch a promise to the stories she had yet to tell. She took a deep breath, filling her lungs with the cool night air, and began to type once more. The rhythmic clatter of the keys filled the room, a comforting melody that spoke of progress and perseverance. Words flowed from her fingertips, weaving together the lives of those who had traversed the tumultuous years following 1945. She wrote of their challenges and triumphs, their struggles and successes, painting a vivid portrait of a world in transition. As the hours passed, the lines on the page multiplied, each one a testament to the power of storytelling. Evelyn's mind was a canvas, painted with the vibrant hues of human experience, and she poured her heart into every sentence, every paragraph, every page. She was a conduit for the voices of the past, a vessel through which their stories could reach the present and shape the future. Outside, the night deepened, the stars winking down from a velvet sky. The world was quiet, save for the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze and the distant call of an owl. Yet within the confines of Evelyn's study, there was life, a pulsating energy born from the stories she was crafting. Her thoughts turned to the challenges that lay ahead, the questions that remained unanswered, the mysteries that awaited discovery. She knew that the path forward would not be easy, that the stories she sought to tell were not always simple or straightforward. But she was undeterred, fueled by a passion that transcended the obstacles in her path. Evelyn paused, her fingers hovering above the keys, and allowed herself a moment of reflection. She thought of the people whose lives she had touched through her work, the connections she had forged across time and space. Each story was a gift, a glimpse into the soul of humanity, and she cherished them all. In that quiet moment, Evelyn felt a profound sense of peace. She was not alone in her quest. She was part of a larger narrative, a collective effort to understand and learn from the past. Together, they were weaving a tapestry of hope and understanding, one that would endure long after she had typed her final word. With a renewed sense of purpose, Evelyn resumed her work, her heart alight with the promise of the stories yet to come. The night stretched on, a canvas of endless possibility, and she embraced it fully, ready to continue her journey, one story at a time. As dawn's gentle light began to seep through the curtains, casting a warm glow across her office, Evelyn felt the quiet arrival of a new beginning. The world beyond her window was waking, but within her sanctuary, time seemed to slow, each second a deliberate step in the dance of creation. Her fingers moved with a newfound grace, each keystroke a testament to her dedication and love for the craft. It was as if the universe itself had paused to witness this moment of clarity, where every element of her life coalesced into a singular purpose. She was a storyteller, a guardian of memories and dreams, entrusted with the sacred task of giving them voice. Evelyn glanced at the photographs lining her walls, faces of those who had inspired her, who had shared their stories and, in doing so, had become immortal. She realized that her work was not just about capturing moments in time but about celebrating the resilience of the human spirit. As the final words of her latest story materialized on the screen, a gentle contentment settled over her. Evelyn knew that her journey was far from over, but this chapter, with all its challenges and triumphs, had reached its natural conclusion. She leaned back in her chair, savoring the sweet satisfaction of a tale well told. Outside, the world continued to turn, full of stories waiting to be discovered, and Evelyn was ready. With a deep breath and a heart open to the possibilities, she closed her laptop, allowing herself a moment to simply be. The stories would come, as they always did, carried on the winds of inspiration. And so, as the sun rose higher in the sky, Evelyn stepped into the new day, her spirit buoyed by the promise of the stories yet to be written, each one a new thread in the ever-expanding tapestry of human experience. The morning light filtered through the window, casting gentle patterns across the room, and Evelyn felt a profound connection to the world around her. Every sound, every whisper of the breeze seemed to carry tales of distant lands and voices yearning to be heard. She was a part of this grand narrative, a weaver of dreams and chronicler of the human heart. As she walked through the quiet streets, Evelyn reflected on the journey that had brought her here. Each story she had penned was a reflection of her own growth, each character a mirror to her own soul. She had learned that stories were not just about words on a page but about forging connections, bridging the gaps between strangers, and igniting the spark of empathy. With each step, Evelyn embraced the unknown, her curiosity guiding her like a faithful compass. She understood now that life itself was a story, ever-changing and unpredictable, and she was both its author and its witness. The beauty of it all lay in the uncertainty, in the infinite possibilities that lay ahead. And so, as the city began to stir and the world awoke to the rhythm of another day, Evelyn felt a quiet joy, knowing that she would continue to explore the depths of human experience through her words. Her stories would be her legacy, a testament to the enduring power of imagination and the unbreakable bond that unites us all. With a heart full of gratitude and eyes set on the horizon, Evelyn walked on, ready to embrace whatever stories life had in store for her next. The world was vast, and she was eager to lose herself in its endless tales, one word at a time. As the morning light spilled across the cobblestone streets, painting them in hues of gold and amber, Evelyn paused to take in the world around her. The city, with its kaleidoscope of lives and stories, seemed to hum with a vibrancy that resonated deep within her soul. She felt a sense of belonging, an invisible thread connecting her to the tapestry of humanity that unfolded with each passing moment. Evelyn knew that the beauty of storytelling was not confined to the written word. It was in the laughter shared between strangers at a cafe, the gentle nod of acknowledgement from a passerby, and the silent understanding that passed between souls who dared to dream. These were the narratives that enriched her life and fueled her passion. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, casting a warm glow on the world, Evelyn felt a gentle breeze brush against her cheek, as if whispering secrets of adventures yet to come. She smiled, her heart swelling with anticipation for the stories waiting to be discovered, waiting to be told. In that moment, Evelyn realized that the true essence of storytelling lay not in its conclusion but in its continuous journey, a dance between reality and imagination, where every ending was but a new beginning. With this newfound wisdom, she stepped forward, ready to weave her tales into the fabric of life, one story at a time. And so, with the city alive around her and the promise of endless horizons ahead, Evelyn embraced the world, her heart open and her spirit unbound. The journey was hers to make, and she was ready to pen the stories that would forever echo in the hearts of those who dared to listen. The narrative of life unfurled before her, a masterpiece in progress, destined to be as timeless as the stars that watched over her path. As Evelyn wandered through the bustling streets, each step resonated with the rhythm of a world teeming with stories. The laughter of children, the quiet conversations of lovers, and the distant hum of the city became the symphony to which her heart danced. She felt the pulse of life in every corner, each moment a chapter waiting to be written. The sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a golden hue over the city, as if blessing the tales she would tell. Evelyn paused, taking in the scene, feeling a profound connection to the world around her. It was in these small moments, she understood, that the magic of storytelling truly lived, an intertwining of the mundane and the extraordinary, where even the simplest of gestures held profound meaning. Evelyn's eyes, bright with inspiration, gazed towards the horizon. She knew that her journey was but a thread in a vast tapestry, each story she would tell a vibrant color in the grand design of existence. With a heart full of dreams and a mind brimming with possibilities, she set forth, eager to capture the beauty of life in her words. As dusk settled, painting the sky with hues of pink and purple, Evelyn felt a sense of peace wash over her. The world was vast, its stories infinite, and she was but a humble scribe, ready to listen, to learn, and to share. With each tale, she would discover a piece of herself, and in turn, offer it to the world. Her journey was just beginning, and she embraced it with open arms, knowing that the stories she would tell would forever illuminate the paths of those who followed. And thus, Evelyn walked into the twilight, her spirit alight with the promise of stories untold, her heart a beacon for the narratives that would forever bind humanity in the shared tapestry of dreams. The gentle breeze carried whispers of forgotten tales, weaving through the trees as if urging Evelyn onward. Each step she took resonated with the echoes of those who had walked before her, their stories laying a foundation for the new paths she would carve. The earth beneath her feet seemed to pulse with life, a living testament to the myriad journeys that had unfolded upon its surface. As stars began to punctuate the evening sky, Evelyn paused to breathe in the night air, crisp and filled with the scent of possibility. She realized that every end was merely a new beginning, each chapter a prelude to the next adventure. Her pen, poised to capture the essence of her experiences, felt like an extension of her own soul, ready to document the symphony of life with every stroke. Evelyn understood that her role as a storyteller was both a gift and a responsibility. It was a calling to illuminate the unseen, to give voice to the silent, and to weave connections that transcended time and place. With every story she would tell, she hoped to kindle a spark of understanding, a flicker of empathy in the hearts of those who listened. As she continued her journey under the celestial canopy, Evelyn felt a deep gratitude for the stories that awaited her, each one a treasure waiting to be unearthed. The road ahead was as uncertain as it was exciting, but she embraced the unknown with a quiet confidence, trusting that her path would reveal itself with each step she dared to take. And so, Evelyn ventured forth into the night, her heart a steady drumbeat of hope and her spirit a lantern guiding her way. In the silence of the world around her, she heard the gentle murmur of stories yet to be told, and she knew that she was exactly where she was meant to be, an eternal wanderer, a keeper of tales, a dreamer unbound. The stars above twinkled like ancient storytellers themselves, whispering secrets of the cosmos to those who dared to listen. Evelyn paused for a moment, feeling the cool breeze brush against her skin, carrying with it the scent of distant lands and untold adventures. She closed her eyes, letting the symphony of the night envelop her, each sound a note in the grand composition of life. As she opened her eyes, she saw the faint outline of a path ahead, illuminated by the silver glow of the moon. It was a path woven from the threads of destiny, a tapestry of moments past and future, inviting her to step into the unknown with courage and curiosity. She knew that with each story she uncovered, she was not only telling the tales of others but also discovering pieces of her own soul. Evelyn took a deep breath, feeling the weight of her responsibility balanced by the lightness of her passion. She was not just a storyteller. She was a bridge between worlds, a conduit for the dreams and desires of those she met along her journey. With every tale, she would plant seeds of change, nurturing them with her words and watching them bloom in the hearts of her listeners. And so, with a heart full of dreams and a mind rich with possibilities, Evelyn continued on her journey. The night embraced her, wrapping her in its mysteries, and she walked forward, her footsteps echoing softly against the earth. With each step, she became more attuned to the rhythm of the world, her stories flowing seamlessly into the tapestry of life. As the first light of dawn began to paint the horizon, Evelyn felt a profound sense of peace. She was a part of something greater, a timeless dance of stories that wove the fabric of existence. And in that moment, she knew that as long as there were stories to tell and ears to hear, she would never be alone. Evelyn smiled, her spirit soaring as high as the morning sun, and she whispered a silent promise to the universe. To continue her journey with an open heart and a boundless imagination. To honor the voices of the past and the dreams of the future. And to always, always be a storyteller. Eternal and unyielding. A guardian of the infinite tales that connect us all.